Welcome to the Nola podcast. Raw, honest, relatable experiences that help us grow. Are you subscribed? If not, what are you waiting for? Go! And please, leave a review and help us grow while you're at it. Thank you.
On today's episode, for the people who are watching, I think you guys know who this guy is.
Maybe.
But you don't have hair.
I don't have hair.
So maybe you don't know. Guys, my former co-host, Mr. Melee.
If I do this, maybe they know.
For the people who are listening, he's doing something. I think they call it dancing on this planet.
Oh, my goodness.
The SOA Q&A, and of course, today's happy habit. Melee.
What up?
My goodness.
What's goody, rather?
Ooh.
Yeah, what's goody?
Old time goodies.
Yeah.
Oldies but goodies.
Oldies.
I said that
but
wrong.
Goodies.
Oldies but goodies.
Yeah.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
I missed you. And guess what? Eli would always ask me, like, when we have encounters with people and then we're no longer in contact with them, he always asks me, do you miss such and such? 99% of the time, I'm like, no, I don't miss people, like,
Yeah.
and places and stuff. I'll be no, I don't think about it, you know?
That's so
but I missed you.
I missed you too.
I missed you. You were a super integral part of this podcast starting. Of course, you're the reason why I started. No shade to the people who also told me I should do a podcast, because there were some people and I kept saying, Melee is the reason. And then they pulled me to the side like, I told you to do a podcast too. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. My bad. So guys, I'm going to put you in the show notes. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, but seriously, you walking into the new studio and the way you appreciate the way everything is set up.
Word.
I was telling you, like, you cannot truly appreciate this.
Like
if
only
you,
I can appreciate it.
Yeah, if you don't understand the origins. Like, you had to have been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
When the shots had to be super tight because the surroundings was wild crazy.
We're
like this
with noise issues and
all types of issues, the rawness of the surroundings, and now we're building.
It's beautiful.
Refining.
It's
Thank
beautiful.
You. And you were a part of that. So when people walk in and they're like, "This is nice, I love it," I get that, but they don't get it. It don't hit the same. Yeah, but obviously for season 1 and 2. Season 1 and 2, we were co-hosts. And one day you called me and you're like, I'm done with you guys.
Something like that. And
then you hopped on a plane. And where did you go? Because you were gone from social media. Your phone was off for like months. Yeah,
and it's so funny because I think on my way here, I realized this. It hit me that I don't think people know exactly why. Like I left the podcast, like, and there were a few different reasons, but the main, especially for me, the thing that made it like a little easier, the decision a little easier, is because I know that I was leaving. Yeah, I was physically leaving here, the New York. Yeah, so that kind of made it a little a little easier for me to make that decision. But that was the main reason, because I was actually. Wasn't going to be here for a long period of time.
And you were gone for a hot second. Yeah. Where did you go?
So I went to Texas. I joined the Air Force. Yeah. So that happened.
I didn't get a chance to tease you and say Army.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because I keep doing that. Apparently there's this thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a, I won't say beef, but it's just like.
Like, get it right.
Yeah, it's just like a little thing, like if if you're in the Air Force, don't say Army.
Now I can't tease you about it because I already ruined it.
I mean, you did already behind the scenes.
A little,
so
okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
So you went to Texas, joined the Air Force.
I joined the Air Force in what was that? September of 2023. Obviously the
2022.
No, yes, I'm sorry, 2022. Okay. Yeah,
because that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 2022. Woo! Yeah, so in 2022, Obviously, the process takes a while. I didn't leave until February.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was like a big decision for me because I just felt like I was in a place where I was stagnant. I was stagnant and I was trying to figure out a way to get moving. And, you know, I was working on a lot of different things. And it's so crazy how like you could be doing so much and still feel like you're not moving.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was in that place. Like I was doing a lot of little things and, you know, especially working with the podcast, working on my music, working with EW at the time. Like I was doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, you were doing all the things.
Yeah. Obviously dad life still going on.
I was watching you just go through it. I was like melee.
Yeah, I got engaged.
Oh yeah.
Same month, I think that was.
Yeah.
Same month. Yeah, September.
I remember feeling like, why didn't he say he was going to get engaged in advance? Like, this is insider information. I have a problem with finding out on social media.
No one knew. No one knew. Which is, I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah. But that's me. That's really me.
Super private.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff happened in around that time. And but it was weird. Like I said, it was like I just felt like I wasn't moving. Like I was doing so much. It's running in place.
Yeah.
So I was really like, and even just not for that situation in general, but just in general, every time I feel that way, I feel like I got to take a trip. I got to leave. Like I did it in 2017. And I went to Thailand. I was setting on going by myself. I ended up going with a friend, but
the infamous trip. We're not gonna get into that.
Infamous. Why? It's so infamous, but
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I know. It's infamous, but it's so funny to me being on the other side because it was so innocent. But to everyone else, it's infamous. But that's fine. But yeah, so I was like, yo, I gotta leave. Like I literally have to make a move and pivot some way, somehow. And I had a friend who was in the Air Force, and like he's been telling me since I was 18 to join. Like, but I've been doing so much. Like,
and then he's like, I finally got you.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? He doesn't even know. Stop. I have lost touch with him.
Wow.
But but yeah, he's been telling me since I was like 18, like, yo, join. I'm like, nah, man. Like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I did do so much. Like if I would have joined at 18, I don't know, things would be a lot different. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to make a pivot. So I did that, signed up, left in February. That experience was just like, it's so funny. It was, when people ask me about it, I always say that it was horrible, but it was horrible in the best way. It's what I needed.
It was challenging.
It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was challenging, but it was exactly what I needed to kind of get, put some fire under my, can we curse? I know you're trying to monetize, but get some fire under my butt.
Yeah.
Like really just to make me get up and go and get myself in shape. Yeah. And you did that.
Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, I did do that. I did that.
Good job.
Yeah. So, it's like so many things that I needed to like get the ball rolling, and that helped. But in the same process, so many, I hate to say bad things, because now I'm coming to the realization that it's all a part of the process. Yeah,
it's happening for you.
Yeah. But so many bad things happened when I left.
You know what? You and I were on FaceTime one day for a hot second. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this.
I think so. When I was in tech school.
Yeah, I don't because we did talk about. I'm like, yeah. So at one point the service was choppy. You went outside. We were talking for a long time about those said challenges. Yeah. And first of all, my jaw was on the floor. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? Yeah. And it followed me going on Facebook and seeing you post something, and I'm like, how people post certain things, and I don't know about you, me, I will go all the way to the end to see if they say something like psych.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Copy and paste.
Yeah. Copy and paste this.
So I went straight to the bottom. I went straight to the end of the post, and there was nothing. Yeah, there was no JK. There was no jokes. No JK. So I went back to the top and read through it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Melee.
Yeah.
I can't believe he would post something like this. Now, Melee is super private.
Yeah.
And that was so out of character.
Mm-hmm.
I had to hit you up, like, what's up? What's going on? So we ended up talking about it. And what I noticed during that conversation is you kept mentioning experiences with intuition a lot.
My God. Yeah.
A lot. Like you
Crazy.
kept saying, I had a feeling, I looked into it, it was true. This thing happened, I put 2 and 2 together, then I got the solution. Or I had the signs and I followed the signs. And I'm like, this sounds like something very spiritual happening.
And you know what's so crazy? And I want to back up just a little bit so I can kind of take you through the timeline. So I left in February, right? I think February, March, like sometime in March. Well, before I left, actually, I was one of the last things I did before I left. I had a cousin who was sick. He suffered from sickle cell, obviously, his whole life. And I think he caught COVID, he got really sick, and he was in rehabilitation. So I was helping him like for the past few months before I left, like go to his appointments and in February, like right when I was gonna leave, he was moving his stuff out of his apartment. He needed to move all of his stuff out of his apartment. So like me and Shadrach like got together and just like started helping him move all this stuff for like we did it for like a couple days. And the last time, like when I was leaving, I was about to leave. So last time I knew I was going to see him before I left, I was like, yo, like I'm leaving, you know, I'll be back, and, you know, we spoke, we hugged it out. And I remember just telling him I loved him.
Yeah.
And it was something that, you know, men like, you know, ego and stuff. We don't do that often.
Yeah. But in that moment,
I was like, yo, I had to tell him that I loved him. And that was the last time I saw him.
Wow.
That was the last time I saw him.
Yeah, I saw that you posted about that, you, Jules.
Yeah.
My
So while I was in basic training, because while you're in basic training, you don't have any cell phone, no social media, nothing. So like I didn't have contact with anybody. So I was just communicating with people through letters. And one day, like when you're there, this is a whole lot of stuff, but when you're there, you get jobs. So a job that I chose, and I was so grateful for this job because it gave me some solace, was to do laundry. So I would do laundry, and like that would like get me away from everybody for like 2-3 hours.
And that could be therapeutic for some people.
It was the best. If you join the military, take laundry duty.
Okay.
So,
I'm inviting you over every Sunday.
Listen, I know how to do it now. So I was doing laundry, and that would give me a chance to write and read letters. So I remember one day we received letters, and it's so funny because like, when you get letters, everybody sits in a big room and then they call out your name. You run up and grab the letters. So I ran up and grabbed my letter. I opened one and I started reading through it. I'm reading through the letter. It's all nice and everything. Oh, I miss you. You know, I forgot who it was from, somebody in my family. And they were like, oh yeah, I miss you and all of this. And I was like reading. And they were like, all right, everybody get up. I didn't get to finish reading the letter. So I was like halfway through the letter. And they were like, all right, everybody get up. We got to go here. Go do your duties. So I closed up the letter. I go do laundry. I'm doing the laundry, get, you know, everything in the machines, and then I sit down. I'm like, all right, let me finish my letter. As soon as I open up, I start from where I left off, the very next line. And that right now, I was in the room with like 50 other people. Then when I did laundry, it's just me and maybe like 3 other guys. So I'm sitting in there, and the very next line says, I'm sorry to tell you, but your cousin Corey died.
Wow.
And I just screamed.
Wow.
I just screamed in the room, like, and I just remember that moment being like, damn, like that's crazy. One, because, you know, like I mentioned before, I'm super private. I would have had that reaction in the room full of 50 people.
Yeah.
And that would have been the whole thing. So the fact that, you know, I even had that moment, you know, it, once again, like I mentioned, and this is why I wanted to backtrack and bring this up, because it's once again, those things are just lining up like the way that only God can line up these
events.
Yeah. And I just remember being in that moment, like, that's crazy. that's crazy how everything's happening, how I'm not there, how I was like, that was the last thing I did the last thing I did before I left was to see him. I told him that I love him. That made everything like so much better because our last conversation was, you know, about love and you know, and then just how it happened, me finding out through the letter at that moment in that time. And yeah, so it just made me think of that. It just made me think of, wow, like once again, God is like preparing me for something. Right?
You see the synchronicity.
Yeah. So then that was while I was in basic training. I was in basic training. That was super tough. I was even to the point like I was going to come back home, but it would have been a whole thing. They would have had to call the Red Cross, a whole bunch of stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll thug it out. And I stayed. And then I left there and went to Wichita Falls to go to tech school.
Really?
Yeah. So basic training is in one place.
That's where you were when we talked?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they send you to tech school after. And that's a whole nother thing. I mean, basic training is a whole nother thing. It was just horrible experience for me. And I don't want to, you know, push anyone away from joining the military. I think for me, it was difficult because one, I was way older than most of the people there. Mm-hmm. Two, it was just what I was going through at the time.
Yeah.
I have a daughter at home who's like young. When I left, she was like doing gibberish. I came back and she's fully talking. A whole different person. So it was like, that was super tough for me. I was like struggling in my relationship at the time. Then, you know, my family's dying while I'm there. So it was just like horrible. And I think the hardest thing for me, like just adjusting to the different lifestyle, is going from doing whatever I wanted to do for the past 20 plus years, whatever, you know, since I left high school, and not having to be under anyone's control, to them telling you when to eat, when to wake up, when to sleep, what to wear, you know, how to do your hair, how to talk, how to walk, like everything. That was the hardest part for me, like adjusting to that. So I got into so much trouble.
Really?
Yeah, like I got into so much trouble. And I say that because you know me.
Yeah.
I'm not a troublemaker.
Yeah.
But I got into so much trouble, I thought I was going to get kicked out.
Really?
Yeah, like it was close.
So like, what's one of the things that you're like, okay, this is it. I'm going home. They're sending me home. It would be
like stupid stuff, but obviously, once again, the ego. And like, you know, like, cause they telling me what to do. Like,
I'm from New York.
Yeah. Like I remember one time, like I came out this room and it was like, I just had an amazing class. Cause the education, the classes that they have there are so great. Like it's like, I big up the military for that. Like the classes are superb. So I went to this amazing class. I got out of this class and then like, they do, it's all on purpose, all by design. Like I walk out the class and then I'm walking like slowly, strolling, and then one of the sergeants just runs up to me like, "Why are you walking so slow?" Like in my face, screaming. And then I'm like, yo, I just keep walking slow. Like he's like, "Hurry up, run!" And I just keep walking slow. And he just spazzes out. He tells me that like they have these little papers you got to give them, like when you do something bad. He grabs it, and you know, that was like one of my strikes. And then another time, like. Every so often you get like your phone back for you so you can check in on your family or check your bills or whatever. And the first week first like 2 weeks I was there, I came and I checked my phone and I see that I wasn't paid. So I was like, I was like, yo, I gotta call home and let them know that I'm not getting paid. Like, and they were like, nah, you're not calling my home. And I'm like, then we have a problem. I'm like, yo, then we got a serious problem. Like, cause like, you're not telling me like I'm not calling home, like I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid.
I have to let my people know.
Yeah, and I think he realized, and the whole tone switched up. Like the whole tone switched up. They called me in the room, sat down, like, relax, guy. Like, I don't know. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, don't like.
You're taking it too far.
Yeah. Don't you taking it too far now? So like, it was a couple times. It was a few things like that. You know, it'd be small things, but.
The yelling in the face.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
If you the yelling has always gotten me into things.
Yeah.
I'm cool, we could talk, but the moment you start yelling,
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
I
like,
have
you're
to
gonna
go
get
back
yelled
into
at.
my childhood, like, girl, what happened?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the yelling just is very triggering.
But it was good. Like, it was good for me. Like, I've always been a super patient person, but it helped me like really to cultivate that a lot more.
Yeah, like there's levels to patience.
Yes. Yeah, and it really like showed me like, bro, this is the ultimate level of patience. If you can get through this, then you have like ultimate level patience.
So what did you come out with other than the obvious skills, learning stuff from the classes, discipline,
Yes.
patience? What's something that you came out with that people don't typically talk about out loud that's, doesn't have to be super private? But it could be good. It could be not so good.
I really like, it's those things that you mentioned. It's those things that you mentioned that I came out with. And it's not like I didn't have them before, but like I can see like if you going in at 18, like, and you don't have that, you don't have those things already cultivated in you, it's perfect. Like, so this is like a jarring, full, like straight to the face punch of all of that discipline, patience, work ethic, even, physical fitness. That's like a full punch in the face to get you up to that speed. But I've always had that. It just died off.
I get that. Life.
Life was life and it just died down.
Yeah.
And I needed a reignition of all of those things that have been instilled in me since I was a kid.
And it's a combination of things that it's like a formula on how to be successful.
Yeah.
Because you can't be all over the place.
Exactly.
Unless your success relies on you being all over the place. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
How, but discipline, patience, and I want to get back to the spiritual aspect of it because that's what I was sensing when we FaceTimed. I felt like, you keep tapping into this higher level of downloading intuition and data. And I'm like, what's happening? Is this something? Because I don't know if you talked like that before. Because you kept saying, I felt it. And I looked for it and it was there. And I'm like, what's happening right now? Did something in particular happen that ignited that?
No, I think it's been always happening. It's always been happening. I just didn't realize it.
Pay attention.
I just didn't pay attention.
Listen.
Yeah, it's been like my whole life. Like when I think back on it now, I'm like, yo, my whole life has been that way. Like I've been dodging certain things. It's not been dodging, but it's like I've been covered and protected. And like, I just haven't tapped into this God power. And that's like my goal now. Like that is like my drive and my passion now to fully tap into it because I can't deny it anymore. I can't deny it. Like all these things have happened and it's been like, bro, like you have this, I won't even say you, but like, because I believe that everybody can tap into it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it's just been like so evident. Yeah, it's so pronounced that it's like, bro, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You got to tap into this.
And if it keeps coming for you, you got to go with it.
Yeah. So like everything has been, and I've been like, just like tapping into like spirituality and religion so heavy these past couple months. Even yesterday, like I was reading the Bible, I was reading 1 Peter, and it talks about suffering. And bro, this has been the year of suffering for me. Like suffering to the point of like, when like you say like you go so low that there's no way, no, you can't go any lower. You can only go up from there. Like it's been that type of suffering. Like I've been like the lowest I've ever been in my life.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. The lowest I've ever been in my life this year. And
do you feel like everybody has to get to that point at some point?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Because, and I'm just like, it's been so much stuff, but like I said, I've been tapping into spirituality and religion. So I've been like listening to Eckhart Tolle a lot. And he talks about suffering is necessary for evolution. And that's another thing that super resonates with me. Like, I needed to suffer because I have this line in the song, which I say, every birthday I wish to be wise and old. You can't have them both without some miles on the road. Times in the heat, moments in the cold, give some attention and reflection to see how much you've grown. And that was true. Every birthday I wish to be wise and old. That was always every birthday.
Every time you blow your candle, every time I blow what you're thinking. All right.
That's what I want. I want to be wise and old. I want to grow old and I want to be wise. Like, with a long beard and people come to me for wisdom.
Otherwise, what's the point?
But I mean, I don't think everybody wants that, but that's something that I've always looked up to.
Yeah.
But you can't have that without some miles on the road. Like I said in the song, like you can't have, like I can't achieve that without going through anything. And I haven't gone through anything. I haven't suffered enough to receive that blessing of wisdom. Well, I mean, this year has been the year of suffering.
I'm gonna do a little bit of pushing back on that because this morning, actually, 2 hours ago, I listened to this whole thing about pain and suffering. Right? And it was a perspective that I kind of brushed off in my head, but never really delved into. You know, I'm always listening to Sadhguru.
That's my guy. I'm reading his book, Inner Engineering.
I'm doing that in the spring.
Really?
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's fire. I mean, I'm not done, but it's been helpful.
I'm a little bit nervous.
To read it?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous.
It's gonna mess you
because
up.
he pushes at all the things you know, and it's like, oh gosh, okay.
He had this part in the book where he was like talking about I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, why do you think because you're a good person you deserve good things?
That's what he was talking about this morning.
Really?
Because I was listening.
Crazy.
I didn't finish it because my thing is I want to learn more about karma. Because I realized that one day somebody said something about karma, and the way it hit me, I was like, I don't want to use that word anymore because I realized I don't understand what karma really is. So this morning I'm like, let me look up what karma is. And he's talking about karma, but he's also talking about pain and suffering. And somebody was like, what's the difference between pain and suffering? Because he keeps saying it's not the same. And he's saying that, pain it could be physical. Suffering is what you're doing in your head.
Yes.
And the way he talks about it is you don't have to suffer. And he's always pushing this life where you can be joyful all the time. And it's hard to fathom being joyful all the time. I'm like,
but in order to get there, you have to experience suffering. Like, how are you going to know the difference?
But here's the thing, though. Suffering, I guess, I do agree with that. And that's why I like to listen to these things and read certain things, because I don't agree with him fully either. But I want people to push what I believe so I can say, I'm changing my mind. I want you to change my mind, right?
Yeah, you want to be challenged.
At the same time, it's like, I'm thinking about this documentary that I was looking at. I don't remember the name of it, but it's basically about people around the world who live past 100. What is it about these communities that have these people that live that long? And the one that stood out to me the most was the community from Okinawa, Japan. And they keep talking about they eat purple potatoes every day. I'm like, I'm not eating purple, whatever. But that's what they do. But here's the thing. Those people live such simple lives. And one woman, she was like, my secret is I look at everybody else be angry. She was like, I don't get angry. She's like, I don't do anger. And it's really perception. What is this situation could be doing whatever it's doing, but you don't have to suffer because it's happening. All types of stuff could be happening around you. It's like you watch somebody go through something, you're like, it's not even that serious to you because that's your perception. You're choosing to not let that cause suffering for you, but that person is going through it. And I'm like, but I also don't believe that you can really grow and get to another level if you don't experience the suffering. So
Yep.
I'm on the fence trying to
yeah.
like sort that out too, but I'm with you and I'm with him.
Yeah, I hear you, and I feel him on that, because I think once you are going through the suffering, you can come to the realization that you don't have to do. Excuse me. That you don't have to go through that suffering, but you have to be going through it in order to. I mean, it's like you stuck in a place, but you don't realize you're there.
Yeah.
So in order for you to get out of that place, you kind of have to realize you're there and then be like, okay, I can.
But
I don't have to
I
be
also think that this is what I'm aware of. I can feel that there's another level of consciousness that you can tap into that we're not there. So it's hard to fathom that you can actually walk around life being blissful. It's hard to imagine it, but I do believe that there's a higher level of consciousness that you can tap into where you're like,
and that is Christ consciousness. That is like what people are been striving for millennia. And that's, I mean, Christ consciousness, but it's also Buddha. It's also like,
Krishna.
Krishna. It's like all of these. That's why, like I align, like, I don't know if you ever heard of Baha'i.
No.
Baha'i is like this religion that basically kind of like puts all of the religions in one. It basically says that all the books are right.
I feel I heard Lauren London and Soleil talk about that.
Okay.
Because if you pay attention to Soleil,
who's Soleil?
Soleil, she used to be a rapper.
Okay, I
want to say that late 90s, maybe early.
Okay.
She was married to Genuine at one point, but she kind of went through whatever, life and came out on the other side, like hyper spiritual. And when I pay attention to the things that she says and does, I'm like, I listen to her music because she's now rapping, but on a spiritual side of it.
Got you.
And I'm listening to the words and I'm like, okay, that's African spirituality. Oh, that's something they say in Nigeria. Wait a minute, that's Hinduism. And she's doing all these different things with her body, and I'm like, that's super Hindu. But it's not one thing. It's like a combination of.
It's the idea that like, why can't it be true that God has sent multiple messengers? God
or one, and perception and
that's true
stories
too.
over time.
That's true too. But if like you believe that all of these different cultures and people around the world believe that these, key figures existed, why can't that be true? That all of them are messengers from God with the same message, because at the end of the day, it's usually, for the most part, the same message. Love. That's the core message of all of this stuff is love. Love, love, love. And that's been like my goal and my mission and I'm realizing that that's like what this God power is wanting me to be an example of. And that's why it's like, I'm not there yet, but I am on that path. Like, I want to tap into this God power fully.
I think everybody is on a journey trying to get to their God self. But we are not always conscious of why we're trying to do what we do. Like, even in those little moments when, a woman would wear a certain type of outfit because she wants people to praise her or give her compliments, that's, hey, I want love. Essentially, when you go to the core of it is, I'm looking for love. All of that stuff it might not seem related because people feel like when you're doing things that are provocative or things that might be hypersexual or whatever, that it's somehow completely separate from God, right? But I feel like everything we do on some level, we're trying to get to our higher selves, but the tools and the inner engineering.
And trying to separate, your body, your pain body from your spirit. Because like that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of people are like searching for that love, but they are hurt. They're suffering, experiencing the suffering that they don't have to. Excuse me. And that is, I've been saying this it's cliche as hell, but I've been saying this a lot lately. Hurt people.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's just like, it's an unfortunate, unnecessary part of our experience, but it is what it is. Like, that's what's been happening. That's what continues to happen. And I think as soon as you come to that realization that you're in that place of hurting, you're in that place of pain, because even in this short period of time, I've hurt people because I've been hurting. And, I had to snap out of it. And I've even had some people like that have come into my life in this past couple months that have, like, once again, been those synchronicities from God that's just lining me up to tell me something that I need to hear in this moment. And I've been like, it's been a crazy roller coaster. It's been an insane roller coaster. Like, that's been.
So how did all of that bring you here? Like, what are you experiencing right now that's a direct result? One thing that's a direct result of all of those things happening. And how is that showing up? Because I see you doing poetry.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to find, well, not even trying to find, but I'm trying to tap back into, like I said before, being that example of love. And the best way I know how to do it is through art. So, like, I've been really trying to tap into getting back into my artistry. Like, I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and he was like, yo, what do you consider yourself? I see you doing poetry. I see you rapping. And I was like, I consider myself a creative because, like, art for me started with a pen and
Words.
with a pencil and pad, drawing.
Really?
Yeah. That's how art and self-expression started.
Pictures.
For me. Yeah. Like, I used to draw.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, that was all I used to do. Cartoons. Like, I wouldn't, because I was like, not mute, but I was like very quiet.
Okay.
So I would just draw all day and draw. And that's how my self-expression started.
Yeah.
Then it evolved into writing.
Yeah.
Then it evolved into poetry or probably like rapping. And then, but I think poetry probably came first and then rapping. And then, it just keeps evolving into, like, many different things. But, like, yeah, like, I'm trying to get back into that.
But your poetry is so
space.
intense.
Yeah.
I'm listening to them and I'm like, this is so intense.
Yeah, man. That's who I am. Like when I do especially poetry, that's what I love, and I always will go back to poetry because for me, poetry is not, like music. You can do glitz and glam and be cool. Like, I got a song out, Cool, and it's about ego and bravado.
Do you think poetry is more humbling?
It's more humbling, and it's
Grounding.
more grounding.
Yeah.
It's organic.
I like
no
grounding
glitz
more than humbling.
Yeah, for me, because I know a lot of people do poetry and they be talking about, a bunch of different stuff. But for me, poetry is grounding, and there's no, it's not about being famous or being popular or anything. It's just like raw emotion and raw experience. And that's
if we had more time. Because we're about to go into the next segment.
Okay.
If we had more time, when you said the word raw, this thing just exploded in my head. Because all of a sudden I'm thinking about yesterday. I was reading this timeline of Ye's relationship with Adidas, like what happened from the beginning to now. And there's so much that happened behind the scenes that never made it to the media, right? And I just kept thinking, here is a person who fully embraces his shadow. And not only does he embrace it, but he releases it for everybody to see it on display. I do think it's reckless how he taps into his darker side.
Sure.
But that rawness is what creates the best art.
Yes.
The best poetry, the best music. And I think that's what he does how he's able to just create these things, the rawness. And, you know, a lot of us are just hiding from, because we're supposed to always appear to be nice and kind, and not saying not to do that. But when you understand your shadow, and even this morning, Sadhguru said, if you have ghosts that you created, be friends with them.
Bars.
Learn how to be friends with your ghosts.
Yeah.
And play with them. He's like, if you don't want them, don't create them and don't play with them. You know?
Yeah.
So when I hear you say rawness, I'm thinking maybe you are looking at your other parts, your other facets, and saying, you know what? I'm comfortable with this, and I want to tap in and embrace myself as a whole.
For sure. Like, yeah, everything, you know, everything for me, especially this year, has been about that, like tapping in. Like I just been like trying to get myself to that level. And, you know, now that I have the realization, it's about, all right, now finding directions to that. I mean, not destination, but on that path.
I get that.
And along that journey, like,
you
know, get yourself fully on that journey. And it's not even because this is another thing that has been like super like awakening for me. It's like, I've been trying to, and that's a lot where the suffering comes from, been trying to control a lot of things.
That you can't.
I can't. And it's not my job to.
Exactly.
It's not like I just gotta be along for the ride. Like I literally have to just be, because as always, and we consider this existence that we're in right now who we are. We consider our body as, you know, who we are, our true identity, but that's not it.
Facts.
We're just observing this experience right now. We're just like, you know, we're just along for the ride.
In this vessel.
Yeah. And that has helped me so much, because it's really made me, one, forgive a lot of the hurt that I've been through this past year, and really just see people in a different way, because I just look at it like they just don't know who they really are.
Yeah.
They don't know who they really are. They over here just swinging.
Everybody's
and
winging
people.
It, right?
Yeah, and then that's true too.
Yeah.
Everybody's winging it. Like you said before, people are looking for love, and they don't know the directions. They don't know where to find it. So people are just out here just doing whatever. And
so we forgive them.
Yeah. So we got to. We have to. Because if we don't, hurt people gonna hurt people.
I think we can drop the mic right there.
Mic drop. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to jump into the next segment.
Okay.
You're familiar with this.
Am I?
You were here when we created it.
I don't know. A lot of things have changed.
The SOA Q&A.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember what we used to say?
Okay.
We're about to go into the SOA Q&A, aka adrenaline question of the day.
You don't even
Sorry, guys. I never claimed that my memory was the greatest. But let's go. Who is my craziest or most interesting relative? I have so many. My family story, my family is super private and sensitive. I don't even know.
Answer, you know, carefully.
You know what? Shout out to my cousin Marlon. And I'm only mentioning her because this is someone, I moved to the United States and I just got so caught up in how things were here, a lot of suffering. And this is someone who never, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. This is someone who's always reaching out. Because of her, we have a bond with our other cousins, and she doesn't even know that she created that. But I can't get into the craziest. But Marlon is one of the most intelligent people I know. You can't pull a wool. You can't pull blinders over her eyes. She's super quick, super sharp. And I just wanted to send out my appreciation for somebody who's always reached out, always kept me close when I was drifting. And that's it. But the other people who are crazy and interesting, they know who they are. I ain't going there. I'm setting me up.
If my best friend picked a tattoo for me to get, what would that tattoo be? Probably be like a penis on my forehead or something. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, listen, we joke around a lot. No, it would probably be.
I think that it's fair though, because women experience that all the time.
Dang. What?
Nothing.
Penis is a.
Never mind. Go ahead. Let's keep it pushing.
What would it be? I'm trying to think of, like, I have two best friends, but I know, like, if I was to pick Shadrach,
let's go with him because I like him.
He would do like a truth tattoo. He would probably say, like, get a truth tattoo or something, like the truth somewhere on my. Yeah.
What invention do I think will be popular in 20 years? Just all types of implants. People having things implanted inside their body, so the phone will probably be obsolete on some level, or it'll evolve to something else. Yeah. But definitely implantation of.
It's so funny. We used to do this as a joke.
When you call me, I'll be like,
"This is gonna be for real."
No, I can probably just sit here and be like, "Hello, hello." Hold on, I think my arteries are clogging the Wi-Fi. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Oh boy. Yep. Ooh, that's a good one. What was the first record or CD that I owned with my own money? I want to say this. I mean, this might not be the first, but this one stands out to me because I can remember going and getting it and not realizing how much of an impact it would have on me when I got it. Is the Nas and Damian Marley album, Distant Relatives.
Wow.
That album, to me, is one of the greatest albums of all time. It might be, it's top 5 for sure for me. It might be number 1. But I remember getting that album, and I don't know why. I mean, I wasn't huge on Nas, but I love Nas and I love Damian Marley, and I'm not a huge fan of either of them, or I wasn't at the time. But then when I went to get that album, like, it really, like, shot me into a world of consciousness. Like, I didn't know what consciousness or being, like, you know, woke, or like, I didn't know, you know, like, you
that was your gateway.
Yeah, that was like a gateway for me into that realm of things. So yeah, I remember that album, like getting that album and listening to every song time and time again, and playing the CD over and over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, Distant Relatives. If you don't know, now you know. Meanwhile,
I was on the other side. My friends bought me Miss Thing by Monica for Christmas. Miss Thing. You're getting conscious. I'm there like, don't take it personal.
Yeah, that was a goodie.
What's my best idea for a reality TV show? Maybe the one where people don't know the cameras are there. How about that?
That doesn't exist, does it? Because it's illegal.
I'm just saying that would be the best.
Yeah, I mean, no, that would be
like the
great.
Truman Show.
Yeah.
That would be the best, because even reality shows people are putting on and acting. We want to see when you're putting gum under the table, picking boogers and wiping it on somebody's back in the street.
It's a thing. Yeah, that's a good one. If I could switch lives with anyone in my family for a day, who would it be? I don't know. Anytime you say family now, I think of my cousin Corey. And not that I would switch lives with him, but he's just like, he changed my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, he changed my whole life. And I don't know if, I believe that he knows now, but I hope that he left with that understanding that his legacy will live on through us. Because I can't imagine what I would be doing without his influence. You know, I can't imagine, my life. Like, I wouldn't be involved with music. And that has done so much. Even besides that, like, he's the cousin who used to come pick me up to go to parties. Like, I got my first dubs with Corey. You know what I mean? Like, he used to, like, tell me how to dress, like, like how to talk to girls. Like that's the cousin. You have that cousin, or you have that family member. Like, that was Corey. And I just hope that he knows, like, how big he was a part of my life and many, I'm pretty sure my brothers and other people. So I know I don't went off on that question, but I just think of him because I know that he suffered a lot in his end with sickle cell, which I want to just, like, bring light to this. Because someone else, I just came from a funeral the other day, and rest in peace to Kevin MacLeod, who just passed from sickle cell as well. And to me, this seems like something that we could fix. Like, it's like, out of all of the diseases and illnesses that we have, like, it just seems like something that we can fix, but it's not, because it only affects us. And that messes me up a lot, knowing that this is, like, I feel like something that could be rectified, but it's not, because people don't care enough about us in order to fix that. But damn, I went off on a tangent. My bad. My bad. But yeah, like, I just felt the need to bring his name, because I just, like, a part of me feels like I want to feel, I wanted to be in his place a little bit and feel like some of that suffering, so I can have more of an understanding. Once again, back to that idea of me wanting to have that wisdom and needing to go through something in order to have that. So, like, I just feel like I wanted to connect with him in that way, like, to really understand what he went through, what he's going through, and what, eventually is the thing that made him meet his demise. Wow. So, yeah, man, I just want to connect with people on that level, like, for real. Like, and I think we all need to do that. Like, where everything that's going on right now is so crazy. Like, people see each other and they think that they're so different. They're so separated from them. Or I can't be like that.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, and it's an illusion. It's a real deal illusion. I hear the thing about the, living in if we're living in a simulation, and it's like, it is. We are in a simulation
I'm not going there with you.
Yeah, I know, but in a way it is, because it's not real. What we think is real, what we think is so important,
or the things that we put a lot of emphasis on,
bro,
it's fleeting.
It's not.
And I think you always, I don't know about everybody, but it always becomes apparent when someone transitions, passes away. All of a sudden, that thing that was the biggest thing in the world, it just
doesn't seem important anymore. And so I just want to say that God bless, those who have passed this year. And unfortunately for me, it's been too many. Rest in peace, Corey. Rest in peace, Uncle Patrick. Rest in peace, Kevin MacLeod. And everyone who's suffering everyone and anyone who's suffering right now. My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you all. Like, I hope that you find your peace.
All right, so
this is something new.
Yes, the happy habit. What is something that you do either daily, periodically, that brings you joy?
I have these alarms on my phone that go off. I guess I wouldn't say. I guess it does bring me joy in a way. But I have these alarms on my phone that go off, I think, One is at 4:44. One is at like 11:11. I think the other one, I forgot where the other one is at, but they go off periodically throughout the day. And they just say, be present, be still in the moment. Like, and it just reminds me. And when that alarm goes off, like sometimes I just smile and I laugh to myself and I'm just like,
grounding.
Yeah, like, bro, it's not that serious.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, like, for real. Like, it brings me a little bit of a joy just to have that understanding, like, no matter what I'm going through, because, oh my God, and I'm clapping for me.
Let's clap for Mele.
Yo, I don't look like what I've been through this year. I don't, and we didn't
You look better. You came out looking better. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, for real, like, congrats to me.
Yes, and congrats, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
I appreciate that. So, like, yeah, just that moment of, like, checking yourself and just saying, yo, be present, be still in the moment, like, because a lot of suffering, and you can probably attest to this from Sadhguru, comes from what you're thinking about in the past.
Yeah, your imagination
and
in
what
the future.
you're thinking about in the future. And it's like, bro, just be present.
Yeah, he's always saying that the two most amazing things that we have is what cause our suffering, our memory of the past and our imagination of the future, things that do not even exist
and it's like
anymore.
things that don't exist. The past doesn't exist anymore. The future doesn't exist. So it's like,
all right.
Present, be present.
Be present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh man, this was so amazing.
Thank you. That's it.
I love you guys so very, very much.
Love you more.
Glad to be here. Call me if you need anything. I'm here. I'm home now.
You know when you tell me call.
Home.
You know when you tell me call. If you need anything, I'm gonna call.
Listen, call, hit me up.
All right. Thank you, Mele.
Thank you.
That's it, guys.
Love y'all. Love.
Thank you for tuning in to the TkACTN podcast. Created and hosted by Nola, produced by Take Action Media, theme song by Mr. Mele, sponsored by The Hills Restaurant, Brooklyn, New York. Listen to us on all podcast platforms and follow us on social media at the TkACTN podcast. Visit the thenolaroexperiencepodcast.com and connect with us via email at talkwithnola@gmail.com.